Hello and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. I'm Michael Hamflett from WhatCulture and I'm joined by, you need him, Adam Nicholas from WhatCulture to discuss everything that happened on last night's edition of Monday Night Raw. Before we get into that sort of thing, listen to whatever you want on the WhatCulture Wrestling Podcast Network. A, because I'm not going to do Wilborn's intro spiel, and B, because it's still wacky summer. A really cool upload went up yesterday on the YouTube channel where myself and Sidgwick slaughter some sacred cows and deliver some inconvenient treats. There will be more stuff that we've put in the can still to drop as wacky summer continues for the next couple of weeks, which is why it's just myself and Nicholas today to recap Monday Night Raw. And as a little bit of an advance warning, it might be a little bit of an NPR-infused jazz club style edition of the review today. I am pretty tired. Why? Because I was traveling back from Forbidden Dow, and tune in for that, which might be airing live as you watch this, or indeed will be available wherever you get your podcast. The full Forbidden Door review with a live perspective with myself and again Nicholas later on today live on YouTube, but then we'll be in all the feeds after the fact. So yes, I was traveling back, Nicholas, through Birmingham, as it happens, which is where Monday Night Raw was last night, from the, well, it was the NEC, always will be the NEC to me, but it was from the BP Pulse Arena live. Okay.
Come on, you've got this.
The DP?
Nice.
DP live in Birmingham. And yeah, there was train strikes yesterday, solidarity with all the striking workers, but there was a point when I was basically trying to spatula myself onto a train with the thousands of sort of travellers that otherwise had their journeys disrupted and whatnot, where I was like, I could squash myself onto this train and get back to my wonderful family, who I love dearly.
Of course.
Or I could sort of say, oh, no, I couldn't get on. There was nothing I could do, and immediately get on the tickets and go to this edition of Monday Night Raw. But I didn't. I did come home because I wanted to be in this chair. I wanted to be responsible to my friends and my family and do this review. However,
I thought your friends weren't here.
My best friend is right there, mate.
Who's that?
But I did get the itches that I'd made the wrong call when I was watching Raw at a nice time last night, airing, of course, at 8 o'clock in the UK, when Roman Reigns kicked off the show to an absolutely monstrous pop, a huge response, as like Roman Reigns tends to get. But I think even he was taken back by just how loud and long the songs went for him. He did the usual thing where it comes out, everybody raises the wands up and all that sort of stuff. There's all the signs for Roman Reigns. There's just loads and loads of singing, stand up if you love Roman, and all that sort of stuff. The English soccer chants.
They do like him as well, don't they? They love the English soccer. Like the wrestlers, love the English chants.
Is it? I remember Sidge about a year ago, I think it was in France actually, which of course as well will be for Clash in Paris this weekend, where it was the first point Sidge dared to sort of, don't hurt me, about the chants being a little bit performative. Whilst I don't think these chants for the most part were performative, I am starting to tire of the tunes.
Yes.
Roman Reigns win.
But that's because we've heard them forever.
Yeah.
That part of that.
Time for an upgrade there, isn't it?
Yeah. But the Americans will feel like, whoa, these Brits are so creative, bro.
Is that what they sing at the sports? Yes, it is. And often it's far more vulgar. Roman, it was pretty cool actually, because they were doing stand up if you love Roman. Everybody was standing up, and then he was just like, about to speak, let's go again. Just, they love me. They love me. He asks Birmingham to acknowledge him, even though they obviously already have done. And he talks about how, in a lot of ways, this feels like old time. The fans in Birmingham are as loud as they ever were. I saw their Shield wrestle in Birmingham once. You know,
did you?
That was at the infamous house show I've talked about, where they sent the Big Show in place of Danny Bryan. But
yes.
Shield and Cody and Goldust in the mid card.
Okay, tore
it up. So I've actually seen Roman and Cody clash a little bit, which interestingly ties us right the way back to this promo, because Roman says, "Yeah, everything feels the same in many ways. The crowd in Birmingham are still loud. I've still got your love. I've still got your support and acknowledgement. But there's something I need to acknowledge. I'm not the same as I was." Fans are like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. And he's like, no, I'm grateful for that, but I'm not. Cody Rhodes predicted all of this about a year ago. And at the mention of Cody, this was great, this is from Roman. At the mention of Cody Rhodes' name, there is a ripple of boos. And do you remember the infamous Seth Rollins? Yeah, no pop.
No pop, yeah.
He trapped himself there. He was like,
did he?
Interesting. And he moved on. But the idea was to say that like Cody is the all-seeing eye baby face that spotted how things would go for the bloodline. So he did get back on track, but he let that one breathe a little bit. Because then he said, Cody said it would happen. the Vision, Seth Rollins, they've taken everything from me. The Bloodline have taken it all from me. Seth Rollins gets mega heat, and Roman's like, now I get that one. I agree with that one. Seth's getting obviously all boos and that kind of thing. F Seth Rollins chants. The Netflix censors, as usual, are a second behind on the button, so we hear all the F-bombs without hearing Seth about 5 or 6 times. And he says, yeah, the Vision have taken absolutely everything from me. I don't have all the things I used to have. I don't even have the opportunity to fight for the world title. Jey Uso does. And I'm sick of people saying he doesn't deserve it. That guy's gone out there and got on everything, and he's going to get that title back at Clash in Paris in the Fatal 4-Way. But right now, I'm not a world title contender. I don't even have a wise man. So they even had to find, without my wise man and without my titles, they even had to find something else to take. And before he can continue referencing what we know he's about to, out comes Paul Heyman with Bronson Reed, who, of course, has got the Shula Fowler on. Roman Reigns continues to lose his shoes to Bronson Reed. And Paul Heyman cuts a promo where he notes that it was 5 years ago that, I think it was, he said Bronson Reed pointed out that it was 5 years ago that Paul Heyman went from being the advocate of Brock Lesnar to being the wise man of Roman Reigns. And Paul Heyman says that he misses Roman Reigns and he still loves him, but unfortunately, that's why he had to come out here tonight and disrespect him. Paul Heyman does the Bronson Reed, chanting the Bronson Reed name. The fans boo that, obviously. Heyman mocks them, says, you're not tough enough to live in Manchester and you're not rich enough to live in London. I will not take that Birmingham slander, Paul Heyman. It's the second city for a reason, pal. But then Bronson takes over after Paul Heyman's got on the cheap heat. He talks about how their backgrounds are similar, but a little bit different. They are both of Samoan heritage, but his tribal tattoos are earned while Roman's had to be paid for. He goes down the line of basically Roman being a fake Jesus while Bronson Reed's the real deal, and he's had to kind of fight out. He's not had any of the advantages and privileges that Roman's had with his own Samoan bloodline. It's quite funny here, Roman, when he sort of gets the opportunity to push back, he's like, you're one of us, are you? I had no idea. I mean, I'm still going to kick your ass. Like, I didn't realize that I was your boss. You should have told me. That sort of triggers a big brawl. Bronson comes down to the ring. They start to fight, basically. Reed appears to get advantage. He sends Roman Reigns into the steel post, gets him back in the ring, and he's going to go for the tsunami, but a bunch of security come and break them up. Adam Pearce is out there as well. In that time, Roman Reigns has been able to recover. They sort of continue to brawl into the aisleway. The brawl is basically pushed to the back, but you get the sense that they need to be separated backstage as well. And yes, there is obviously talk later on of the Vision being back because Bron Breakker will take on LA Knight in the main event, and obviously Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed continue to build their match to Clash in Paris. What were your thoughts, Nicholas, on, I guess, Roman, like, I raised this point last week where Roman Reigns, as a babyface, even though they finally got him over as one, almost doesn't fit as the babyface part-timer. So in some respects, it's probably good that he's in the mud a bit, trying to work with some mid-carders and do something that isn't related to a belt. But I still think there's no one single position he fits correctly in. He's this massive megastar, but he's not involved in the title, and he's also a part-timer who doesn't feel like he belongs with the rat. Like with this, doing a Welcome to Monday Night Raw type thing. I loved him as a performer here, but I still think he's a weird fit.
It's because he's like, all right, he's so big.
Yeah.
Everything about him is big time. But if he's not going to be there full time, though, they can't really like put him in that slot. And as WWE Unreal very much revealed, Cody is Triple H's guy, right? Well, that's
why I thought Roman allowed those boos to breathe a little bit.
Whether that's another extra added layer of kayfabe, or whether that's legit, it certainly feels that way. But it's just going to be a strange place to put him anyway, isn't it? Because he's got it out the ass, this guy.
Forever now.
Forever.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong, I guess, with him coming down to try and raise up a few other ships with him.
Yeah.
Which I guess is what they're trying to do here, right?
And the Bron Breakker matches they want to protect as well. No disrespect intended to Bronson Reed. The Shula Fowler and the Tribal Thief is something great that they have stumbled upon
here. It's
really
really good.
Really good stuff.
Really, really good. Like, imagine if he ends up with like 8 pairs of shoes.
That's where this has got to go.
It has to.
I think Roman pins him at Paris and there's an attack and Bronson takes more shoes with him. And then the guy that's walking around with Roman's boots, let alone his trainers, his wrestling boots, that becomes his extra trophy to take, doesn't it?
And it also makes Bronson Reed better than one Dwayne The Rock Johnson, because he just wanted one soul. He's got like 4 souls. That's pretty good isn't it?
my God.
That's really good stuff.
Great
Nicholas.
stuff. It's not bad for Tuesday. This when we're both very tired.
That's homophone humour at 11:30 on a Tuesday morning. We're both quite tired.
I think that's pretty good.
That's good stuff. I'll tell you what else was. The massive response that Dirty Dom got when Finn Bálor and JD McDonough were backstage and saw Dominic Mysterio, or like they were all walking together and Dominic Mysterio peeled off because he wanted to go speak to El Grande Americano. Finn's like, what you're talking to him for? What you need this? And Dom's like, don't trip, chocolate chip, which Finn pulls a face at. They're planning something. They'll catch up later on. But yeah, you can hear the crowd cutting through the segment with just enormous Dirty Dom chants. He continues to be hugely over. And this feeds into one of several things kicking around for the Judgment Day tonight, as JD McDonough was in singles action first against Dragon Lee. Finn Bálor is out at ringside with JD McDonough initially, but even just when he tries to get on the apron, the referee at this point, familiar with the Judgment Day hijinks, and Finn Bálor is out of here, leaving JD McDonough and Dragon Lee to have a relatively short match after that, which Dragon Lee wins clean. I won't do the recaps. I can never do them justice quite like Adam Wilborn. But the finish was when Dominic Mysterio, obviously realizing that Finn Bálor was out of action, came out to try and interfere on JD McDonough's behalf. AJ Styles also turned up in his kind of continued capacity as somebody that won't let it lie with Dirty Dom. Their fouad is far from over, and we'd get at least kind of the payoff we thought we were going to get to this later on with Adam Pearce. He chases Dominic back out of the building. That gets a big reaction. And in the meantime, Dragon Lee is able to take back over on JD McDonough, hit Operation Dragon, I think he calls, gets the win. And like a clean victory, well, relatively clean victory for Dragon Lee. More importantly, a win at all. He's been one of the, not so much benefactors yet, through this Judgment Day, El Grande Americano, confusion, who's friends with, who's Zoom and who.
Zoom and who.
But this is the next level up. It's one thing to just be present in these tag matches. It's quite another to actually be given a singles win out of it. From seeming oblivion and the abyss,
Seeming
Dragon
oblivion?
Lee he might be crawling back out.
Nobody wants Seaman Oblivion, Michael.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's
You can't even watch Seaman Oblivion anymore without entering your credit card details. That's... That reminds me, actually, I've got a question for you later on. There's somebody referencing that.
Completely unrelated to that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, Dragon Lee picks up a win on Raw, gets a big response. Not over, but next to a thing that is over.
Which is usually the good way to get over, right? Like
an earnest attempt, I think.
They continue to use the Judgment Day in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Elevate the people around them there and overact. Dragon Lee's a weird one, isn't he? Because he's so talented.
Yeah.
And he's been there for what feels like a while now.
Yeah.
And it's strange to see him it's not floundering, but just like not excelling either. He's just...
Yeah. We probably don't talk enough about how, because it's almost a bit of fun when a wrestler who happens to be gothic or wear black or speak slightly in Aleister Black style riddles, and this is not just a dig on Aleister Black, but the next Undertaker thing, basically.
Yeah.
Like that's been almost like a gag at this point. But I would argue that in the shadow of that, there's an even bigger gag, which is just like a dole queue of people that were told to be the next Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
It's a piss take, and it's not fair on any of them.
No, not at all.
They are luchadors in a company that historically can only kind of manage one or two at a time, and have only ever truly made one genuine breakthrough star in their highly Americanized product, and it's Rey Mysterio. Rey Fenix, I think, suffers that now.
Yeah.
And by not getting compared, Penta has had loads of breathing room to just do his own thing.
Give him a completely different style.
Yeah.
And it also helps when people make great clips on Twitter pairing his music or his entrance with Smooth Operator.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like cemented him as that cool, incredibly outrageously legendarous. I just made a word up there.
He's legendarous.
Legendarous. That's what they call me. Legendarous.
Legendarous. As the French say. Which is
just a badass as well.
He's badass.
He's badass, cool guy. And it's fun to do the walk.
You see the house show thing where like LA Knight, Punk, and Penta are in a 6-man main event, and they're doing the walk. You're like, well, you've just created a reason I want to go see him at a house show.
That's it, man.
Seeing all the stars doing your
If you
bit.
haven't learned it yet, just get a thing. IYO SKY pointing at her head immediately made her
get a thing
over.
Yeah,
even more than she already was. Get a thing.
Do a signals and catchphrases, man. They are just as important as anything else.
Yeah, that's the business. Also, I have to say this because it needs a nod. I don't think we've had a chance to yet. 10 out of 10 to JD McDonough, who usually doesn't do much of any interest whatsoever to me. But even as a Newcastle fan, him turning up to the Newcastle house show with the Liverpool shirt on that had Isaac 9 on the back is some of the best heel work I've seen in a while. You sometimes say it as a bit of a cliche to go after people's sports teams. This is the prime example of that is a 10 out of 10. No notes, bit of business that.
Yeah. There was, like, for those that aren't aware, and you probably will have done, having heard Michael Sidgwick stress on main about this. Alexander Isak, not yet an ex-Newcastle player, but certainly increasingly starting to feel like one, and to go to Liverpool on the day before Liverpool played Newcastle.
Literally the day before, yes.
Hot in the air as well. What's great about I watched that clip after you sent me it.
Yeah.
And then I found like just an extended version, or it was like wide or whatever it was, because it was like a vertical one. And what's really cool is like, so he does that, and obviously you feel the heat immediately intensify. And as the babyface try to do something about it, Punk just comes in and is like, let me at him, how dare him. So obviously reads.
He gets it.
So this is heavy heat, and it's like, oh, we can have some fun with this now. That's like the new thing to do.
Oh, so what you're saying, Michael Hamflett, is...
No, I'm definitely not saying that.
What you're saying, you're saying, Michael Hamflett, is that CM Punk...
Reverse out of this, Nicholas.
I can't do it. I'm afraid you've already put us in the alleyway. CM Punk, is it Geordie now?
Well, let's just explain some of his actions when he was feuding with John Cena the other month.
Also on the long list of Geordies is now Sami Zayn.
Yes, he knows where his fed's buttered, doesn't he?
Yeah, that was something very funny about that. For anybody else,
of all the clubs of all the times.
Yeah, sorry, well, we've done an accidental football tangent yet. No, you don't need to, but I'll go on then. I suppose.
Go on, I'll have with the one, shall we? If I can find the
go
button.
on, why not?
Sports washing tangent.
Yeah, sports washing tangent. Something incredibly. Now, obviously, I should point out Sami Zayn was just at the Newcastle match with his friend, Pac, a.k.a. formerly known as...
Neville.
Adrian Neville, whatever he was, the little super mouse, whatever he was, for a little time. Just there with him. But there was something quite funny about the fact that we've got that Rumble in Saudi
Arabia.
And Sami Zayn has gone out of his way to go to a Newcastle match owned by the Saudi Arabians as well, pretty much, give or take. Incredible stuff.
It's funny how it works.
A joy to see.
Quite a sweet moment seeing those two mates as well.
I love
that's a nice thing.
They always do. I always go on Sammy's Twitter whenever they're back because I know he's going to end up catching up with him at some point when he's in Newcastle. Lovely to see.
Well, you know, it's to be fair, it's a swapping shirts deal, isn't it? Because Packler lent him a Newcastle top, and then Samuel have brought him some like Fred Perry stuff over.
Of course,
bang into that scene, the two of them.
Yeah. And the latest Scar album that they both.
Yes. So anyway. Can't remember where we're at now, but it's all. I know what it's
JD McDonough and Dragon Lee's just finished.
JD McDonough, Dragon Lee, and shout out to JD McDonough as well. I saw something like fair play for him for doing a bit that involved him having to pull something over that massive heat of his, and I can say that.
I know
because you cannot get a t-shirt off in a hurry when you've got this Lego.
That would have been extra funny if it got stuck though.
Just like, he's desperate to do the bit. Jackie Redmond, speaking of the likes of Penta and people that have hand signals and such, is with L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Who doubts that CM Punk putting him through the table last week was quite the accident the Punk has said it was. And he says, anyway, even if it was an accident, I'm not here to work with you. I don't think we necessarily all need to be mates in order to beat Seth Rollins. I can do it on my own. Thanks very much. Just like I can when I take on Bron Breakker in the main event with everybody saying L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
And yes, then we get Penta, who enters for his match against Kofi Kingston. But before that, it's that usual thing, wrestler in the ring, and now you get 6 other things first, including Rusev, who reminds everybody that the reason he came into this world was to crush. He's not going to listen to people who tell him who and when to hurt. He'll hurt when he wants to. And right now, he wants to hurt Sheamus. It's impossible to be good when you're destined to be great. We get a rebuttal from Sheamus later on in the show where he says along the lines of, I didn't think you were going to come back. And to be honest, I didn't think your fight was going to come back with you either. I didn't think the Rusev that I remember was even there. But I guess I was wrong. And I guess he's here. And I'm looking forward to our Donnybrook that we're having at Clash in Paris. So the next chapter of this Sheamus Rusev thing will sputter on at the PLE.
No, try and contain your excitement.
And look, I was cynical at the beginning. I remain cynical because I've not been given evidence to suggest that this is necessarily connecting. It's that thing, WWE are telling you that this is becoming epic long before it's actually become epic. Hands up, I had the exact same emotional reaction to the bar. End up kind of loving the whole deal. Like the organic nature of the way the team came together, the last couple of matches in the best of 7 series before they even became a team, pretty great. So it is Sheamus. They might get there. We'll see. Back to the clubhouse where Roxanne and Raquel are planning because Roxanne Perez has got a huge singles match against Rhea Ripley, the person she's still never beaten, on tonight's Raw. Raquel's giving her some advice, and then in come the stumbling, bumbling men off the back of JD McDonough's defeat earlier in the night. Raquel tells them all to calm down and says this is not what Liv Morgan would want. They all kind of take a pause to think about that. Dominic Mysterio asks Finn Balor, can you actually deal with AJ Styles tonight? Can you do what I need out of you? And obviously Finn gets his ego bruised a little bit. Like says, yeah, I can, and I don't need your help, thanks very much. I'm going to go see Adam Pearce, and I'm going to see if I can get myself a match with him. So he's going to go and see if he can get Finn Balor versus AJ Styles, which he will, for later on. In the meantime, Raquel Rodriguez tells Roxanne, ignore those guys, get your head in the game. Tonight's the night you beat Rhea Ripley. More on that later on, because yes, Penta is out there for his match against Kofi Kingston. Kingston is out there with Xavier Woods and Grayson Waller, Big G. I feel like in my sort of speed run catch up of WWE, of all the things I've actually gravitated towards, the New Day might finally be onto something with Grayson Waller and Xavier Woods looking silly. He was out this week with like a top hat and cane and a neck brace, which it turns out is because he's been hit with the Mexican Destroyer by Penta, which it turns out is what Grayson Waller has the petition for. He's been trying to get signatures all day. He goes over to Corey Graves to get his signature. Cole reveals that he counted when he had the piece of paper there, and he's only had 27 signatures all day, despite the fact that he's been going all around Birmingham trying to get people to sign it. And yeah, Woods is playing up. But yeah, I saw where Penta, that friggin' incredible hat that Woods had, that Penta then frisbeed out the ring.
Oh, of course, yeah, you've been away, haven't you?
Incredible. And then the following week, Xavier Woods had a teeny tiny one.
Teeny tiny little
and now
hat.
he's working his way back up again.
Yeah,
it's stuff. I'm into it.
It's great. That gigantic hat.
Oh my God.
Changed everything. I told you, get a thing.
Get a thing.
Just get a thing. What's your thing, guy? That's it.
We've always kept it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got his top hat and cane. Semi just Woods being daft, semi British gentleman type thing, but he's selling the neck anyway. Kofi is trying to obviously get revenge on Penta, and he's like leaning into like his own sort of anger. The New Day and Grayson Waller, Big G, continue to like try and like use the numbers game and use the advantage. But we go at the break with Penta kicking all the aces, and New Day having to like scarper all the way down the aisle to avoid Penta doing a dive on them. We come back from the break, and Kofi's managed to take over a little bit. He hits a boom drop. He's starting to enjoy his work. Michael Cole notes that's like the first time he's seen him smile in ages, and it's only because he's just inflicting this damage on Penta. But Penta manages to make the comeback. Kofi manages to avoid a Mexican Destroyer, but Penta gets a suplex, a Penta driver. That gets a 2. Big G gets back up on the apron. He takes a super kick for his trouble. He falls to the mat. This petition with all the signed papers go flying everywhere. Penta hits this gorgeous dive onto both Woods and Kofi Kingston. But then as he rolls back in the ring and goes up top to try and finish Kofi, Grayson Waller scrambles back to his feet, gets on the apron, provides just enough of a distraction, which allows Kofi Kingston to pull Penta off the top, hit Trouble in Paradise, and get the 3. Kofi Kingston defeating Penta as the feud between these continues. I wonder, because this is the first time, like now with Dragon Lee spun off into the LWO, I guess in general, spun off in the direction of the Judgment Day, and Triple H looking around and thinking, wait a minute, like I haven't got any other luchadors for Penta's team, and then it can't be possible to be friends with somebody that isn't a luchador. The numbers game is starting to make me wonder if this is the longer-awaited road to Lucha Brothers, and with Andrade now as their third guy, this brings them all together, possibly.
Yeah, the Lucha Brothers and friend.
Yeah. Lucha mates. I don't need it. Rey Fénix and Andrade is obvious in its construction for the millionth time. Don't like it particularly, but they're all right to watch. I love Penta on Raw, singles Penta.
Yeah.
I will miss it if it goes. I was such an advocate for it in AEW. I think WWE have done a great job. I buy him. I believe him. Becoming that upper echelon mid-carder.
Interesting
I
case
don't
where
rush this to the tag.
Interesting case where they've taken a gamble on that. Obviously, with the Rey Fénix being stuck in AEW moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but not by accident and not by, or not by design, if that makes sense. Like the amount of time and effort they've put into making him look and feel like a star. Again, give Guy thing.
Yeah.
Great entrance, great look already. Like, it's weird because it's not stuff that he wasn't doing in AEW, but they've just done the WWE polish. And
all the way up.
Yep.
The stuff going on sale before he even debuted.
Exactly.
Like
Turn up the thing. And if there's one thing wrestling fans love, especially young wrestling fans, is some spooky looking guy.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, spooky looking guy.
Yeah.
With a bit of a weird enigma-like aura. The Jeff Hardy theorem, basically.
Yeah.
Works, man.
I honestly still think, I don't know, maybe this is a clue for the direction that Penta's going in now. But if you've created a four-way to buy yourself some time with Seth Rollins, and presumably these baby faces, plus Roman Reigns could make up the baby faces in War Games to take on a Vision-led tag team. I think you could do worse for that middle pay-per-view or a Saturday night's main event than giving Penta a singles run at Seth.
I think Penta being in the mix for that would be great. Just is something a bit different. And
people would buy it.
Yeah, of course. And if you're putting him next to if it's like these four guys and he's one of the four guys.
Yeah.
But people are going to buy it.
He's had his sort of back and forth with Bron Breakker over the year as well. So it's not like they're strangers at this point. It's really easy to just drop him into it. But we will see, I guess. Right. I'm really, really keen to get into this because I felt like, thankfully, I think we talked about this on WrestleCulture. I was actually grateful for the excessive recap packages because I was completely
I told you, man.
Filled in and clued up on IYO SKY and Rhea Ripley. A big night for these characters in what feels like another big night for this story. And hopefully, the thing I was forecasting a little while ago about where this is headed. IYO SKY, after a big blow-up last week where Rhea Ripley and IYO had helped one another, and Asuka in particular really doesn't trust Rhea Ripley and wants to sort of protect IYO from getting turned on ultimately by Rhea Ripley. Kairi Sane's kind of in the middle, but there's a big blow-up, and it results in IYO SKY going up to Rhea Ripley as she's preparing for a match against Roxanne Perez here tonight on Raw, and says, "Thank you very much for supporting me last week. I respect you so much, but Asuka and Kairi Sane are my family, and they're not happy with us two basically getting involved in each other's business, being friends. Maybe we need to keep our distance for a while." Rhea completely respects IYO, respects that request, respects the decision, and says, "I totally understand if that's what you need to do." They hug, and IYO says, "Good luck." And as they sort of pull away from the hug, it's that old Triple H background trick where right in the distance you can see Asuka and Kairi Sane, where Asuka kind of throws her arms up, gesticulating. She's furious. She's just seen the hug. She obviously isn't privy to the conversation. She's, God forbid, she just watched the show instead of stand backstage at it. But yeah, Asuka's reacting to that. More on that later on. So I'll come back and get your brow thoughts on that one. Because there's quite a few bits of that. It's that WWE trademark of it. If this is featuring in several segments, profile stuff. Speaking of profile stuff, we get the highlights from last week's Naomi interview, spliced with their appearance on the Stephanie McMahon podcast, where Naomi and Big Jim reveal that they're expecting a baby. My belated congratulations to those two. And as a result, the title is vacant, and Postman Pearce continues to delay his explanation of what exactly he's going to do with the belt. But he does tell Stephanie Vaquer, who is, of course, set to compete for the belt at Clash in Paris and is still the number one contender, per Adam Pearce, that he's going to let her know next week what he's doing with the title. Presumably, that'll be something they give to the Raw crowd next week because they're still in Lyon after Clash in Paris. Stephanie Vaquer shouldn't need to do anything, but this smacks of a Triple H triple threat tournament bonanza where the winner probably fights Stephanie Vaquer. That feels like that's what he likes to do.
He does
when situations like this occur, and it buys him a bunch of triple threat matches where, to be fair, this women's division that's looking in increasingly good health can probably knock out a few killer matches too.
And we would be remiss to say that it does work.
It does work. I buy them.
People, you can laugh about it all you want, but the formula does work.
It does.
Even Sidge was sold on the triple threats.
Yeah.
Triple by name, triple by nature.
No, it's the threes and the four. It is contrived. There's no way around that. Yeah. But you are getting winners. You do like that third person. It's obviously sometimes there just to be a pin eater, but it means you get a clean victory for the winner. You can sometimes protect one of your losers if they're in the middle of a fouad with the winner, whatever. It's generated and sparked little micro programs across the year, and Stephanie Vaquer as a waiting opponent for the winner is its own kind of prize, especially if the title's on the line in that big match as well.
And I'd definitely argue that if the alternative was put them all in a big battle royal just to get them all on telly, it's like, why would you do that?
Well, and they might still do this, by the way.
They could, but it's nice to have showcase matches if it's like 3 or 4 or however, 6 triple threats or whatever it is. Yeah. Like, people are going to get a spot on there, and they're going to have a match where there's only 3 people rather than 6 people in a ring.
I also think, I don't know what the general pulse on this one was, but not an issue with Naomi, because I was really enjoying how over it had instantly gotten even if there were elements of the Naomi character that I wasn't fully sold on. But my biggest problem was just that sense. I think it was when she was specifically, before she cashed in and she was interacting with Tiffany Stratton, was the sense that she's already turning babyface again. The fans were getting so into that character that the last thing you want someone like a Stephanie Vaquer to come up against is a heel that is starting to get cheered.
Yeah.
Now is not the time to be dividing Stephanie Vaquer's response. If it's going to be, say, as we might have speculated, tournament winner versus Stephanie Vaquer, put a heel in that spot and a top heel, ideally. And then you've got Stephanie Vaquer having to overcome somebody significant if they're actually going to win, or have that person significant beat Stephanie Vaquer for the belt. I'm curious. I'm genuinely interested how this plays out. The stakes are high. Vaquer's possibly the next top star in the company and waiting, so she's not to be screwed with.
No. You know? And she's definitely got I think everybody's anticipating a match with the current top women's star, or some might argue top star, and Rhea Ripley. Like, that's it. That match is there. So it's a strange one, isn't it? Because you probably want, like, the way it's rolled out, you could make a case for, well, Vaquer to be the champ next, but then you also maybe think, I want that crowning at WrestleMania. Yeah. So is that like a way around the houses? It's tricky, isn't it? They belted Punk, which I didn't expect them to do as part of the cash-in, but they did go for it. So that's, they could do it. Well, we'll see. I guess it could indeed just be the battle royal you described. Maybe they just want to pop that French house that night and let them see a title change, in the absence of getting one at Clash in Paris. We will see. I hope it's not a battle royal. Me too. Speaking of women's champions, though, Becky Lynch, the women's Intercontinental champion, comes out next. She notes the mixed response she's got from the crowd, some boos, some cheers, and says, hey, you can boo me if you want, that's okay. Birmingham was a big part of my journey. It was 13 years ago. I had my first WWE tryout in this very city. That gets quite a nice reaction. She's kind of selling it as all like earnest, and then she pivots and says, it was a dump then, and it's a dump now. Got him. Big heat for that one. She says, and speaking of which, Nikki Bella, thinking that you can just call me out to the ring. I'm not some dog. I'm not some loser like those at Aston Villa or Birmingham City. Boo. I'm not your dog. I don't do dumps. I don't do tricks. And you can't call me out. She gets interrupted by Nikki Bella and says, that's funny. Because if you're not a dog, why are you acting like such a bitch? Big reaction for that one. Get him. Did you get that? Becky says, I'm not going to be baited by you here into giving you a title shot. I'm not going to just offer out a shot to a little broken neck Barbie. Nikki sells that one and says, look, for somebody that had a broken neck, I kicked your ass last week and I'll do it again. You talk about making all this history, Becky, but it's because of the likes of me and some of my peers that you even have a page to write in your little history book. Becky's like, all right, I get what you're saying, yeah. It was the likes of you and your much better twin that paved the way for the likes of me. But I didn't want to pay homage to you. I just wanted to replace you. And I've done it with ease. Nikki says, I don't know. Last I remember, you were just kicking around as Charlotte's little sidekick. Becky bristles at that one. That gets a massive reaction in the crowd because now the perfect time to name drop Charlotte as a babyface is right now. The crowd come up for that, and you can see Becky's really rattled by that. And she says, "No, you've not heard my song. I'm not in anyone's shadow. Sports Illustrated call me the best." And he's, I don't care what Sports Illustrated say. It's not about them. It's not about anybody. It's about all these people that you're saying that are living a dump. They're the ones that made you relevant. They're the one that made you a star. You're just stinking of desperation, and believe me, I'm not the only one saying it. The crowd immediately get on Becky's case, and she screams at them, "What's wrong with you Brits? Was 800 years of oppressing the Irish not enough for you?" Nikki wonders out loud, for someone who's a man, you lost your balls. There's a pipe bomb sitting between the two of them. And he says, yeah, you might be a champion, but you're another C word. Everybody goes, whoa. And Nikki says, that's right, a coward. Right, Nicola, I'm going to need your help here. Because Becky says, right, that's even worse than the C word I thought you were going to call me. I don't know what she was referring very
to.
Obviously she was referring to clowns. That's clearly what
scary
she
clowns.
was. Scary clowns. Because everybody's scared of clowns.
Clown style. Yes. Yeah. That makes sense. Becky had to laugh for that line.
It's a shame because if Sidgwick was here, I think he'd have a different take on it.
Right, okay.
But unfortunately he's not. So and you're not dragging me into the mud. So
no, it's fair enough. See me splicing the baby. Yeah, so let's take that, clowns. Where were we up to? Oh yeah, anyway, and then
I think you lost in the other C word. Probably
I got lost in the other C word for just a second. Don't enter your credit card details on those websites. Yes, Becky says, all right, fine, you win. You want the match, you can have the match. But not here. I'll wrestle you in Paris, because there's no way I'm wrestling in Birmingham. The only good thing that ever came out of here died a month ago, and even he had the sense to move to LA. Another great reaction to that one. Nikki Bella will not take the disrespect to Ozzy Osbourne or the Second City. She steals the Intercontinental title out of Becky's hand. Them to have a little bit of a scrap over it. Nikki seems to almost get her up in the Rack Attack 2.0, but Becky managed to slide to the floor. Nikki Bella throws the Intercontinental title belt at Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch holds it up and like, how dare you touch that? How dare you get your makeup on it, all this sort of stuff. This is my title, it'll never be yours. And yes, that is now set for Clash in Paris. I thought this segment kicked ass. Nikki Bella being back is a gift to the business.
I've been really, really genuinely impressed by everything she's done so far.
She's great, man.
Like, I'm glad because I had a memory of coming back to watching wrestling and thinking, people give this lass a hard time. She's actually really good.
Yep.
And I'm glad that has been maintained. Or certainly in my eyes. Everybody else might have a different take on that. But I've been impressed with absolutely everything she's done since she's been back. She looks on point, and she looks like she also has a point to prove.
Totally. I completely agree. She is locked in. I don't sense any kind of like token gesture about this run or any, like ironically that first, we've kind of had a bit of fun with Stephanie Vaquer, and even she's owned it. Like, how do you pronounce your surname again? And I think that was like, you remember when, and obviously the run didn't work out amazingly well for her. Remember when AEW did that second week thing with Saraya, where she wanted to like line the women up and kind of give them all taps on the head. Yeah. I think they veered into doing that with Nikki Bella, and then they've just pulled right back from it. And they just put her in the mix.
Yeah.
Like, she has to like earn it, or she doesn't have to, but she's sort of got to earn it all over again. But it only took a couple of weeks. People was like, great, Nikki Bella's back. Yeah. None of the ceremony and none of the kind of,
you don't need to hide the fact, because she will immediately be able to go with all of these wrestlers.
Like,
she has done it. She can show it, and she will continue to. And there's some great matchups in there. She feels fresh herself.
Massively.
So to see her getting paired against all these incredibly talented women, she deserves a go at this kind of a division as well.
I'm really keen to see what this looks like. It's Becky Lynch,
so.
super form.
Yeah.
Like, this is like what you still got, Nikki Bella, because I think you got a lot.
And if someone's going to help her produce a great match as well, it's going to be Becky Lynch, isn't it?
No, I'm up for this one. It feels like Becky Lynch has to win, but I also can't see it ending here.
I'm just seeing, like, in my head, again, after the WWE Unreal, I'm just imagining Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, and Tyson Kidd all working together in this match. I can just see it being good.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to sort of, like, they get backstage and it's the big, we got him.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah, it'd be nice. I like that.
Michael PSA's, God damn it, we got him again.
Got him again. This is the Seth injury all over again. Everybody was fooled.
Just like we planned it.
Michael, shut up. Everybody was fooled.
Shut up. Everyone believed it. It's amazing.
We got him.
That was so, sorry, a little tangent again there. So funny, that moment. Not a football one. Don't go looking at the buttons.
It's fine.
Michael PSA's after the main event of night one.
Oh, yeah.
And just the way it was like, he kept going like, how was that? It was great, wasn't it? and everyone's like, you're a genius, Michael. And it's just, there was so many shots of people going, you're a genius, Michael. Yep, all you, Michael, all you. And he's just sitting there going, I was born, God puts these ideas in my head. And I was like, where are we going with this? This Michael PSA is becoming like the icon. He was like projecting himself as the head of everything.
That talking head, that is like, I love it when somebody is such a narcissist that they don't even realize how big a narcissist they are. If he'd have said, right, I got like 6 people calling me a genius backstage, I guess I am. You'd be like, wanker, but fine.
Yeah.
You think your ideas are great, you think you stink, fine, whatever. It is one level to be arrogant about the good ideas you think you've come up with.
Yeah.
It is quite another to think that you were one of the few people on this mortal coil that a supreme being that millions of people believe in has chosen you. Like, God, this is like God making a choice of however many people live on this earth who have to carry his message.
Yep.
And of all the different messages that God, if you're a believer in God, that wants to give to the world, is like, right now, what am I doing today? Right, I'm going to feed this country over here. I'm going to, I don't know, produce some weather over here. What am I going to do for the main event of WrestleMania Night 1? I'd have to give these ideas to Michael Hayes. Somebody like, God is considering the booking of WWE week to week, and he's like, "Here's, can you take this? I've got a lot on this weekend.
I can't fix everything, but what I do need to make sure I do on my long list of things is communicate with my good, close personal friend and conduit for the voice of God, Michael P.S. Hayes, and say, Michael, there you go, there's a sprinkle.
You do this for us, mate. Yeah. It's, you know how Nick Khan moved WrestleMania? Well, it's clashing with the playoffs, and I've got loads on. I've got some buzzer readers I need to take care of, so can you just sort WrestleMania for us? Yeah. Got it, God.
Yeah. I'll put my thinking hat on. Oh, wait. It's always off.
It's never off.
It's never off until I hook somebody. Then it falls off every single time.
Bring back Sean Mortman to cut that hair.
Good stuff.
Anyway, yeah. CM Punk hugged Michael Hayes, didn't he? And he was backstage with Jackie Redmond. He said, I heard what LA Knight said, and I get what's at stake here for the world title. But if that clumsy idiot doesn't want to believe that it was an accident last week, so be it. I've had the world title in my hands, and it was Seth Rollins that ripped it away, and I'm going to get that back. I believe that we could work together to make this job a bit easier, but if LA Knight and even Jey don't want to do that, well, I guess they're all going to be beaten with everybody saying CM Punk.
Yeah.
And off he walks. Big reaction for that one. Yeah, then we get the Sheamus retort to Rusev. And then it's Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez. The commentators talk about how Roxanne Perez has never been able to beat Rhea Ripley. Could this be the night? Obviously, with everything going on between Rhea and IYO SKY. Hey, man, I don't want to undervalue this by not doing it justice in the recap, but worth a watch if you fancy this sort of thing. It goes about 8-9 minutes. It's just a really tight and tidy television match between the two, as you would expect, I guess. It's nice to see Rhea Ripley doing this in the sort of the TV capacity again and not being kept as such a special attraction. Roxanne Perez quietly making a case for WWE's MVP, I think, at this point, like doing it every single week against every single opponent and never missing, while inheriting this massive storyline that exists to foster the massive babyface return of Liv Morgan. A ton of responsibility here and just absolutely smashing it. She can't get it done, ultimately. Raquel is there with Roxanne Perez and ultimately is able to provide a few distractions that give Roxanne Perez the opportunity, but the best she can get towards the end is a roll-up for two. Rhea Ripley smashes her with a massive headbutt and then gets riptide to win clean. Raquel attacks after the bell, which is part of what this was obviously in service of. So the Judgment Day beating down Rhea Ripley 2-on-1, which of course triggers IYO SKY out to make the save. The baby faces kick ass and stand tall. IYO SKY does the big sort of massive celebration in the ring while Rhea Ripley beams smiling at somebody when they thought they were supposed to keep the distance. We will get back to that. But yeah, I just really want to isolate praise for how fantastic this Roxanne Perez main roster run continues to be.
Yeah, I mean, she was on I don't know which one it was, but she was on a podcast recently, very recently, saying she could see herself main event in WrestleMania. And
no arguments from me.
All of these receipts tell me, yeah, I can totally believe you.
Yeah,
she's been that good since. It's every time I watch her, like from the time she's either been in NXT or when she first came up and did her first Rumble. Yeah, it just looked like light years ahead of people.
A level above.
Like, the Prodigy tag is apt because clearly she's got it.
This is why I was just double checking her age there, because she got Prodigy in NXT, and I think it was something she'd carried over from being Roxy. Yeah, but was talking about somebody that is only 23 now, so she was thus 20, 21, 22 in NXT. Really? So it still stands.
Yeah, of course it does.
23 years old, and like working at the level. And again, women are not. It's just not fair. They're not allowed typically to even be held in the same conversation as men when it comes to talking about prodigious talents. They also have things in life, like, for example, having to leave if they want to go and start a family. So women have no choice but to look at this entirely differently. Wrestling historically is really ageist. So I would say that one of the reasons she's not talked about as this upstart and this prodigy is because in a wrestling booker's mind, it's like, oh yeah, she should be classed by 23. What's the big deal? Yeah. Whereas if you sense that if a male was in this position, 23, 25, 28, they're still like, wow. And they've not even hit the prime yet.
I mean, how old's all the guys who are currently in the main event scene?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how old are they?
Absolutely. Old.
You know what I mean? Like, some of them.
We are. If I was in that scene, I'd say we're all in our 40s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, Roxanne Perez, great night for her, and for Rhea Ripley and IYO SKY. We'll go at that now, actually, because they start setting up things for the AJ Styles Finn Bálor match. But yes, big developments backstage as Rhea and IYO backstage. Rhea's sort of nursing the knee that Roxanne had been working on during the match, and laughs as IYO's right there with him. Keeping your distance didn't go that well, did it? And IYO says, well, look, I owed you one from last week. And Rhea says, no, you didn't. Like, I did that just because me and you were close and we're cool. You don't ever owe me anything. But thanks her for the help nonetheless, and goes to leave. At this point, the Kabuki Warriors appear back in, and Asuka is furious, screaming at IYO SKY, part in English, part in Japanese. Kairi Sane's looking increasingly frazzled and more upset as she's trying to keep the peace between the two. Asuka just screams at IYO SKY to stop dealing with Rhea Ripley and storms off. IYO begs for some sort of forgiveness from Kairi Sane and says, look, you can trust me, you don't need to worry. And Kairi, almost in tears, walks off in the direction of Asuka. She clearly doesn't want to necessarily pick a side, but down the line, she might have to. I did watch this back. Somebody very helpfully on X put the English subtitles on, and when Asuka's screaming in Japanese, she's saying to IYO, I don't understand. How can you trust Rhea? How can you trust Rhea? Is Rhea family? She's not family. We're family. A couple of things here, and I do not necessarily feel best placed to speak totally on this. So I'll welcome anybody in the comments or who's listening to this that does. Feel free to tweet me at Michael Hamflett, at WhatCulture WWE. There was an element of this that was either borrowing from like love story tropes or was out and out ready to treat Rhea and IYO as a bit of a love story. The kind of the family that doesn't support the choices that somebody is making. You know, like Asuka is the kind of like angry parental figure almost. That was one take anyway. There was a sort of tone to the exchanges between IYO and Rhea that then played off to the tone between. Now this could just be friends. It's wrestling. Could just be about them forming a tag team and winning the title and trust being broken and whatnot. But there was definitely this sort of like familial sense where Kairi was the one caught in the middle of all the fury from Asuka, who was just absolutely nailed her colours to the mast here. She will not sanction IYO and Rhea being friends, being partners, being more, who knows. But I thought it was interesting to go as hard as they did into the sort of like the long stairs between IYO and Rhea. Could have just been a misread from me, but I like it's really compelling nonetheless. It's either a babyface love story happening or it's just the thing that's pulling IYO away from the Kabuki Warriors to the inevitable IYO Rhea Ripley tag team. I
imagine maybe they've done it to be blurring the lines of both.
The ambiguity doesn't hurt him.
The wrestling business.
I also wonder if the twist in the tail here is that when a split does happen, Kairi actually is the one to trigger the turn properly. She's the one that's looked caught between the two sides. And when IYO decides, stop it, Asuka, me and Rhea Ripley are just fine. And then Kairi's like, well, you. And she's the one that kind of like starts that turn.
You know why that'll happen? Because the voice of God will hit Michael P.S.'s and you'll never see it coming.
Turner.
And I don't know if you know this, but we're in the business of got him.
We got him.
We got him. We effing got him.
We effing got him. Thanks, God.
That's at the end of another episode of the sitcom, Michael P.S. Hayes and God.
He's like leaning on his shoulder.
Yeah. We're just two guys going at it. Or maybe we're not. Whatever you want it to be.
Michael Hayes was given a vision, and so were we, Nicholas. Hey. Seth Rollins is backstage with Paul Heyman, Bronson Reed, and Bron Breakker. Seth Rollins is... where are my manners? Seth Rollins... His music doesn't hit, but it was going to be the only chance to press that button. He's backstage. He's getting in Bronson Reed's face. He's getting fired up. He's saying, you got this, Roman Reigns, Paris. You're going to kick his ass. Can't wait to see it. And tonight, Bron Breakker, you're going to destroy LA Knight, make sure that he doesn't even make it to the PLE. This is the vision we had, and it's on the verge of becoming something so much more. More on them later on. Do you watch Wednesday on Netflix, Nicholas?
I do not watch Wednesday.
Me neither. But if you do, you'll have probably popped seeing Georgie Farmer, who's apparently Ajax in the show. She was there front row in Birmingham.
Good for her.
Yeah. It's a hot ticket.
Hey.
It was a hot ticket.
Hot ticket. Works for the Fed.
In the old DP
Netflix.
Pulse.
Yeah.
In Brum. But now, yes, we do get to AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. Little bit of Billy Cube. Yeah, we've done this dance quite a lot now between these two. It doesn't really have what it used to have. And nor did the match, truthfully. But too short to be boring. Well done, lads.
Too short, too sweet.
Oh, it's good stuff.
Right.
It's good. Too short, me brother. That's what they said.
Too short, me.
Because they only worked 5 minutes.
That's me and Cedric saying hello to each other every day.
Too short, me, bro.
Too short, me, bro.
AJ Styles wins with the Stars Clash in 5 minutes. I cannot complain when these two are keeping it to like 5 minutes, 25 seconds or whatever it was.
This is encouraging stuff.
Yeah.
These short TV matches.
With a conclusive finish that still helps develop the story.
Indeed.
Because Finn Balor losing is obviously that credibility hit that gives Dominic Mysterio a little bit more. And he's now got to be the one that has to beat AJ Styles because Postman Pearce would confirm, much to the Judgment Day's chagrin later on in the show, that, all right then, Dom, yeah, you think you can take care of AJ Styles? I'm booking your IC title match, and I'm booking it next Monday night in Lyon. So we finally get AJ and Dom in France.
Which would have been a crime if they didn't do that.
Exactly, right? Exactly. We spotted this a little while ago, didn't we? Think it's got to be on the horizon.
No, come on, you spotted it. Like
it's team effort.
I'll give you your flowers.
Thank you very much. But I was gonna say thank you there in French, and then I was gonna go bonjour. Can't remember. Merci. But yeah, Lyon on Raw rather than Clash in Paris. But fair enough. Like they're gonna get the crowd response they want. AJ Styles home away from home in France. I've gone right across the big land that is the world to my second home in France. And obviously Finn Balor was all selling and pissed off in the clubhouse, but once he heard that Dom had to put the title on the line, that little devilish grin came back across his face.
So obviously as well, and on the show that they always call the Raw after Clash in Paris.
Of course.
That's what they call it.
How could I forget?
Of course.
A big one.
It's a big one.
It's historically a massive Raw.
Jokes aside, going to now feel like a Raw after WrestleMania kind of vibe with Dom and AJ, right?
Well, is this as well? I'm going to check this now so that I don't offend any of our French listeners any more than Wilborn's French accent.
I was going to say, I hate to break it to you, I think that ship might have sailed a long time ago during the build to, what was it, Backlash France?
Backlash France.
Backlash France.
Yeah. So Paris and Lyon, I know nothing about French geography, but I've just learned that it is a near 5-hour drive. So it's not like, you know, when you sort of be like, oh, I wonder if the people that go to one show are going to be there the next night. That to us would be like heading down to London this afternoon after they've been in Newcastle the night before or something. Not an easy stretch. But yes, some of those fans might be in Lyon, and one assumes that the Lyon fans will want to get that decibel meter back over the top of WWE, like making competition out of these sort of things, don't they? So,
or, you know, to our American listeners, 5 hours, they are all laughing at you.
Oh, yeah.
At the sense that would be a long drive ever.
A short commute to work.
A short commute.
To our friends in the other country.
Yeah, to see a friend.
What are we up to now? So there's obviously England and America, the two countries. But since last week, because the Fed was in Dublin, so that's Ireland, that's 3.
Correct.
Then there's Northern Ireland, which is 4. And now this place, France, I'm hearing about.
Yeah.
5 countries.
That's what the rumor is.
Fair play at the old Mapski.
Yeah.
No wonder it's such a big globe that's got AJ Styles all scared.
Who knows? Might be some more you haven't discovered.
We'll have to speak to Michael Hayes.
Yeah.
We'll find out how long it took to create. Hey, buddy, I'm creating the world here. Maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why he rested on.
That's why he didn't have time to come up with a finish.
He rested on WrestleMania Sunday. Is that what you're saying? Oh, because that makes sense. He rested on WrestleMania Sunday because he'd just done the main event of WrestleMania Saturday.
I've done your finish for that. Can you not sort out? That's why Cody and Cena was so rubbish.
Yeah.
Because God was having a rest. He didn't give anything to Michael Hayes to pass on.
Michael P.S. Hayes must have been on his day off.
There can be no excuse why the Travis Scott stuff was so poor. So that must be why.
That's it.
We've figured it out.
Yeah.
We've cracked the case.
Didn't see him taking his victory lap for Travis Scott.
Yeah, funny that, wasn't it? Unreal must have missed that. Yeah.
Oh, it was my idea for him to walk at the pace of a snail.
It's just an empty locker room waiting for Dwayne, who's never going to show up. Out you go, Travis.
Well,
where's the Rock?
We gave him as much time as possible.
Yeah. Like that Survivor Series they held for him that he didn't turn up for.
Yeah.
Well, we got an egg.
Thanks, Dwayne. Here's an egg.
Jey Uso is backstage and he's sort of speaking out loud his thoughts about the stress of this 4-way in the main event and blah, blah, blah. And he says his mind's all over the place and I'm not sure who I can trust. And at which point the camera pans out and he's speaking to Roman Reigns. He's getting some counsel from the tribal chief. Reigns is listening to him and Jey Uso says, I do want to be champion again. And Reigns says, I get you. And believe me, the last thing I would advise anybody to do is to trust CM Punk. But you need to stop worrying about helping people. Full stop, mate. You're too nice. You have helped everyone, and that's great. but then there comes a time to smash people and take the title. Be more about capturing the moments and locking in the legacy. That's my perspective anyway. But ultimately, you've got to decide that for yourself too. Go out there and do you. Jey sort of seems like powered up by this pep talk. Gives Roman a yeet, and Roman gives him a yeet back in advance before he disappears off the shot. He's got more business to take care of. We go next too. Digging into this one, because I haven't had a chance to speak about it. This is my first kind of proper look at this, and I don't know what the boys' takes on it have been. Bayley, is in a room with like it looks like when somebody's been held hostage, and rather than a curtain, they've had like a sheet over the window. It's not a very nice looking place. You can see the light trying to peek in, but ultimately the idea is she's in some sort of room of darkness, and we are not introduced to her in a darkness, because as I realised after watching this and doing a bit of digging, they've had a couple of goes at this already. Yeah. We've seen a week, correct me if I'm wrong, we've seen a week where there was the hugger speaking to her, and then another week where the role model was speaking to her, and this week, rule of three, they're rowing with each other.
Oh, I think you'll find that clashing, Michael.
Clashing.
On brand.
Clashing ahead of...
Clashing.
Shouldn't quite make it onto that card. Yeah. But they're clashing, the two sides of Bayley. So the hugger at this point is saying, look, like, don't ever surrender to that other voice in your head. 10 years ago, we made history. Winning the NXT title was the best night of your life. I don't know who she beat. You didn't see that.
It's hard to know.
10-year celebration since something happened. She holds the title up anyway. I imagine it's probably a best match ever. But I'd have to go and check out a really cool series of match reviews on YouTube on the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast channel to find that.
Maybe.
So yeah, she wins that title, one of the best nights of her life. And how, you didn't make WrestleMania this year, but you've made it before. You're doing good. You've taken titles into WrestleMania. You've taken titles out of WrestleMania. Your time will come again. Don't worry.
You've been Egyptian.
You've
done it all.
You finally celebrated Egypt just like you always wanted. The role model voice cuts back in at this point and says, blah, blah, blah. Don't listen to that. Don't be a stupid idiot. Like, what's that hugger even doing here? The only reason that you got any fame was because of me. Did you stupid hugger, get your own talk show? Don't think so. The hugger's like, I didn't need a talk show. I was a champion. And role model fights back. Yeah, but not for very long, were you? I was the longest reigning SmackDown champion, and I held 2 titles at the same time. Don't know who she held the second title with. Again, specify what that second title was.
Do you know I'm having that weird thing that you get with the SmackDown GM's name?
Can never remember.
Never remember.
You say I thought the recaps were good, but I'm forgetting all this extra information.
It's the SmackDown MM.
It's memory man.
Somewhere else. Memory man.
But yeah, the two sides are going to war with each other, talking over each other. It gets louder and louder and louder and louder. Bayley's like, just goes, stop! And cuts them both off. And we leave the segment there with Bayley unable to control the voices in her head. Right. I'll just cover this bit first because I think I like this Bayley thing, but immediately we were shown why this doesn't necessarily work as an idea. Lyra Valkyria is in a corridor in the building with Postman Pearce, and she's saying, I'm pretty worried about Bayley's mental state. Have you done anything about it? And Postman Pearce is like, no, I haven't checked in with her yet, but I will do. And it's like, she's got 3 weeks of us being able to hear the voices in her head. This is not normal.
Yeah.
And yet, Postman Pearce is like, it's one thing to have 1 when I've got 3 and they're in me. Lyra Valkyria cares about Bayley's plight, which I like. Yes. But this is, I don't know, this is too fast and loose with the rules of the universe.
Correct.
We're hearing Bayley's thoughts in her head.
Correct.
And we're not making any effort to explain why that is happening. But I think I quite like the character development.
Correct. I think the main thing that everybody's potentially excited about with this is the end destination, right?
Yeah.
I think I'll allow it, given she's trying something different. I think this is probably a long way around to finding her way back to a role that she should have been finding her way back to about 2 WrestleManias ago.
At least a sampling of both.
Or a version.
We're definitely going to see side pony Bayley 1 week and then
that's
heel Bayley another, and like maybe a Cactus Jack Dude Loves Mankind type thing.
Maybe, or potentially a third option.
Third Bayley.
A roll hugger.
The roll hugger.
Or a hugger model.
A hug model.
Hug model.
Yeah,
that
sounds like a gross
creepy,
corner of the internet that you're going to need your credit card details for, doesn't it?
That sounds like sometimes when people have spent a bit too much money to go and see people, and I'm going to hug a model.
Hugging models.
There's a model, I'm going to hug her.
Mind, I tell you what. It's not
quite pop, by the way, if the hugger returns.
Oh, the music especially.
Like, I mean, she's going to have to grow the hair back, obviously, but
Yeah, they can do it as an extension.
Little side pony.
Then she can get rid of it when she does the role model bit as well, can't she? So,
you think they're going to go dual personalities?
Maybe.
You think they're actually going to do it?
Well, the fact that Lyra, who recently has been a bit like, Bayley, F off, and now actually cares about her, they're leaning that, like, obviously she's a figure of sympathy, and that, to me, would set her up to be able to, thanks for being sympathetic, and I'm going to kick your ass. And Lyra's like, what are you doing? I don't know.
It's given corporate Kane, Demon Kane vibes, that, and I'm not sure I like that, because
I hate that. Yeah.
Bayley breaking her leg as the role model one day, but then coming straight back out and just fixing it by herself as the hooker with the power of positivity.
School trousers Bayley. Thank you. Yeah, I was going to, when you said hugger model, it made me think of something. Not a model, but shout out to the makers of those pillows that pregnant women use.
Yes.
That support the bump. Because my wife had one of them when she was pregnant with our two. And if you've got bad back or bad knees, or you wake up, as you do when we're all in our 40s, where something hurts of a morning, those things, man, like, that made me feel some kind of way.
I was going to say, I'm assuming you're just using it every day now, are you?
Not every day, but when I've been in particular pain or discomfort, get yourself a pregnancy pillow. They're like, it's a branding or a PR thing. If they were just marketed as, like, postural sleep aids, more people would buy them. They're the real deal.
Of course they are.
Good stuff.
That's why most men steal them from their pregnant wives, and they're all pissed about it.
They're good stuff.
Yeah.
So was Roman Reigns kicking Bron Breakker's ass. We've got the Paris card gets run down, and then it cuts to the back where Bron Breakker's walking to the ring for his match of the other night, and Roman just steams it out of nowhere. Huge brawl is on, and he's wanting to get the vision. Roman Reigns has got the jump on Bron Breakker, and at that point, security and everybody else pulls him out, and then Pearce ejects him from the building, and that obviously explains away that Roman Reigns, that's him for tonight. We're not going to get any more of Roman Reigns, which matters a little bit later on, because we do go to LA Knight. Didn't properly tee you up there. We do go to LA Knight.
Yeah.
And Bron Breakker's Raw main event. Hey, man, like, LA Knight, I've thought for a while now, has been on the crest of a heel turn, and has continued to sort of, to his immense credit, make you question what exactly the ceiling is. We thought it was United States champion. We thought for a while it was just Slim Jim sponsorship. We thought for a while it was, you can have a run against a champion, but you're never going to be a champion. I don't know if the heel turn's the next move, but I think he continues to carry himself like a guy that just wants to stay at the top of the card. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, and the fact that he's a four-way title challenger doesn't bode well for his future. But I don't think this move to Raw has felt like they're just trying to create a fill-in guy. The story was at the time that Netflix were asking for him, and maybe that's done something to my perception of him, but I thought he handled this really well. And if you think in here, he's kind of technically the veteran. Like, I know people don't necessarily celebrate LA Knight's work as opposed to Bron Breakker, who was kind of growing with his role. But they're putting, this was as much test to how LA Knight can do as the good hand against Bron Breakker that's still got a bit of a wild side. And I thought they put something together. I'm just into LA Knight at the moment.
Yeah. Well, like we said, you put somebody next to somebody who's red hot, and he's not exactly not hot
this is
himself.
True, yeah.
You know, they're both
felt hot.
Yeah.
Birmingham were into it. There was a massive brawl at the start, so it was a while before we get the match going. Again, it's played up to the fact that all the wrestlers in the four-way match at Clash in Paris are desperate to get at the vision, and here's like a sort of singles reflection of that. Bron Breakker manages to take over as we've come back from the commercial break and things have calmed down a little bit. There's a nice bit where Paul Heyman's like, finish this prick off, sir. He's sick of LA Knight's business. But LA Knight manages to make his comeback off the back of that. There's a DDT by LA Knight where after Bron Breakker had nearly accidentally dropped him on his head. That was it. There was a good, just violent, believable energy to this. Dare I say it, because I'd hate to sound like one of those bad faith grifters, but especially on the LA Knight side of things, just because there wasn't a lot of moves, it doesn't mean that the moves weren't super effective. The offense is still bordering on the basic, but the fans go for it.
Yeah, if they're into it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, and I know that's like very sort of, that feels more like it's been taken by a particular type of wrestling analysis where it's like, guy, you're doing too much, man. You'll slow it down. But LA Knight maximizes minutes for Bron here. Breakker manages to counter out that DDT with a huge clothesline. The straps come down. He's raw and he's going wild. But he runs and it would boot from LA Knight. That gets a 2 count. LA Knight places Bron Breakker up on the post and does the big where he jumps up for the massive superplex. Then he follows up with the elbow. And at that point, we get a brief interjection of, but it's Seth Rollins. The music hits and out they come for the distraction. The fans are singing along with his music. That's obviously the something. LA Knight does get distracted by that.
The what, sorry?
The fans are chanting, Sug Maggie.
Thank you.
That's what they were chanting in Birmingham.
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
LA Knight is chasing LA Knight is chasing Seth Rollins, but ends up eating a spear by Bron Breakker as a result. Back in the ring, another spear. Bron Breakker beats LA Knight for 3. A finish, I guess, which is better than a lot of the Debbie Deeks that have been happening of late, even if it kind of played similar to the other one, the Vision coming and do the run. It's getting a bit tired, isn't it? Rollins and Bron Breakker beat down LA Knight until Jey Uso is here. There's some yeet punches for Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker. He goes for his own spear, but Bron Breakker's able to stop that. Seth Rollins hits a pedigree on Jey Uso, and all of a sudden there is massive CM Punk chances. They know what's coming, and indeed, CM Punk comes out. Bron Breakker goes out to meet CM Punk. They're fighting each other. CM Punk throws Bron Breakker into the post. He's in the ring, and now it's Punk and Rollins once again. So they've kind of like nicked the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn now. They just hit the ring, hold it, just punch. Then they're fighting forever, all that kind of stuff. Bron Breakker is able to save Seth Rollins, and now you've got the 3 baby faces in the ring. Obviously, we know there's the tension pre-existing between the 3. It's all a bit frosty between LA Knight and CM Punk, but CM Punk does go over the corner to pick Jey Uso back to his feet, but LA Knight won't let it go. He's getting right in CM Punk's face again. So they turn into like a shoving match. Bron Breakker's down. I want to kick your ass again, Dad. But like Seth Rollins is like, just wait a second, because I think, and sure enough, he's seen the vision, Nicholas, because the Punk and LA Knight exchange gets a little bit too finger in the chesty, and they start exchanging punches. Jey Uso seems to be going towards breaking it up, but he ends up getting pushed. I think maybe LA Knight just pushes CM Punk back. He goes into Jey Uso, which knocks Jey Uso over. So he takes a look at the situation. And he's like, right, F you then. And he super kicks LA Knight. Knight's laying down on the floor. And Jey Uso and CM Punk are stood next to each other. Things look like cooler heads are going to prevail. But then wham! Jey Uso super kicks CM Punk. Blind as if from nowhere. The music starts. Everybody's yeet. And the show goes off the air with Jey Uso standing tall ahead of Saturday's Fatal 4-Way PLE match for the World Heavyweight title. Your thoughts on this, and I guess because I've missed it, like the vision. What's temperature check? What's a vibe check on the vision?
That's a great question, Michael. That sounds like one for Adam Wilborn and Michael Sidgwick. I think, as far as I'm aware, it's still been going relatively strong. Mm-hmm. I think, yeah. That's about it. I wish I had more.
Right, isn't it?
I wish I had more for you. They're in the mix. Wilborn's still very much on board with it.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with him necessarily. I think sometimes you need the people there who are just going to get the story along, and they're a good vehicle for that.
Triple H is quite good at organically arriving at War Games. It's not going to feel weird when randomly you've got this assortment of heels and baby faces.
This would be the argument. You can't complain that everybody gets put together for these teams randomly around these pay-per-views. You've got to establish them. They are a time slot filler.
Yeah.
There's 4 of them. So, they can all do stuff.
Aye.
I don't think they're doing anything wrong. I would be hesitant to say they're doing loads right to really knock them over the edge in terms of like, when you're watching a hot heel faction or something.
It's a very August, September act for WWE, this one, isn't it? Rather than a March, April one.
Yeah, but I would say maybe they're doing the job of facilitating your love for the baby faces well.
Yes.
Which is what I guess they should be doing.
Mm-hmm. The chants are massive for Punk.
It does feel like that they're getting those responses. I don't think they've necessarily done enough for you to go, okay, you're grey heels and I'm enjoying the work massively.
Yeah.
There's a difference between I hate these guys and no, I actually hate these guys.
Yeah.
And I don't feel we're there yet. That's just me, though, obviously.
No, that feels fair. Because again, this feels it's a Seth Rollins problem. I'm always the situational Seth guy, and this year especially, I found that again, here I am sat in the middle, which is appropriate because Wilborn's been really very positive towards Seth Rollins, the most I've ever known him be. Sidgwick, on the other hand, dreads him.
Yes,
dreads him, runs from him every Monday, and
he's still inevitable.
And I get it, Seth Rollins. I think I've gone to bat for the Miz before, for many of the same reasons I would go to bat for Seth, and Seth better than The Miz.
Yeah.
But I also completely understand and sometimes support the argument that he's just simply not strong enough to be a heel world champion, let alone a leader of a stable at the same time. Roman did it. There will be debates that Moxley did it. So this continues to be another Shield comparison where it's like, can you carry the load of this sort of thing to the point where when the payoff happens, everybody will actually be kind of satisfied? The toppling of Seth Rollins down the line, which at this point we all think by Sami Zayn?
Yes,
like the guy?
Which is ironic because the argument could be made, that the one thing Seth is missing is a Sami-like ingredient to... Like Roman was missing the Sami ingredient. The bloodline wasn't quite going off the way they wanted it to, or certainly the way people would have you remember until Sami enters.
Yeah. Bron's the closest you got because he's a nutter and he's funny.
He's funny, but like not in the same way, right? Like, and Bronson's got his gimmicks, which are good, but again, as we've established on this podcast, get a thing, guy.
Get a thing.
And it does work, but it will only get you so far. Then you have to start delivering the goods.
I'm curious, genuine, and maybe this is to put over the Vision a little bit, I suppose. And
I like the package of it. I should say that. I think the Vision's a good brand for them. I think
it's going to work for Bron.
Yeah,
it is going to work for
him. That's good enough.
Yeah, long game.
Is that
I'm really curious as to maybe this is the problem. I am curious enough as to who the Vision might associate with for war games when they need at least one extra man. Presumably 4-on-4. Sometimes they do 5-on-5, but let's say 4-on-4. They need one more guy, and what that. Triple H, will give him this. He does tend to think about why the overlap has happened, and they need one more heel. And I'm curious as to what it looks like when another heel either joins up with or is on side with the Vision. What does that do? It's like Drew McIntyre hanging out at the Judgment Day in 2023 for that War Games, just as an example. Because you can sort of see the baby faces falling into place, can't you? But the Vision are going to need one more heel. So I'll give them that. They're now an over enough and established enough act that you're like, right, well, how will they interact with others? How will this heel? I don't know. Let's say it was Drew McIntyre or whatever. How's he going to feel being bossed around by Seth Rollins, for example? So, but I'm not terribly enthused by Seth Rollins defending the world title at PLE this weekend.
Yes.
It's not really sold me on that. There's no title change happening.
No, probably not. Almost 100% not.
Yeah. So I'm not longer term. Go on then. Short term, it's not really. This didn't feel go-homey, and that's what it was.
Yeah, but what I will say is that something I enjoyed a lot about that is that there should have been more Jey Uso saying to CM Punk, how, bro, you stole my main event at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Because he did.
Yes.
On night one. And Jey won the Rumble and didn't get a main event. He won the belt, obviously, so everything was fine.
Yeah.
But nobody ever addressed the fact that those two are supposed to be pals. And yet... Jey was just like, it's all good, man. Just take main event night one from me, please.
That's sat there in Punk's locker. Your main event by name, mate. But,
and I'm here.
By nature. Yeah.
So there's something there. That little super kick as well, just...
That Roman telling him not to trust him is a nice detail.
It
Roman
is.
And Punk even being whispered.
I do like
whoa, up there.
I like the way they keep those two.
Yeah, they don't like each other.
Yeah, just keep them like that, but they're going to hang around each other's orbit, but they will never, ever be able to be on the same page, it seems. But yeah, I'm intrigued by that Jey Uso super kick. I know it's obviously more probably just leading into the match, but we need some receipts, man. That guy lost a main event to that other guy who's supposed to be his pal.
These were the details that, for the longest time, we used to celebrate quite regularly, so it'd be nice to think that some of those will factor in and come back around. Those were our not-so-proud thoughts, but let us know yours. You can do so at WhatCulture WWE on X, where you can follow me at Michael Hamflett. You can follow our brilliant producer, Adam Nicholas, at...
It's Adam Nicholas.
Join us later on, if you haven't watched already, for the Forbidden Dow live review on YouTube. It'll be available on video and audio. If not, if you've already listened to this one, we'll be back. Wacky Summer will continue this week, where we've potentially got some special guest appearances for our AEW coverage, which will be quite nice. So stick around for that this week. No NXT. I will preface that by saying it wouldn't be the same without Wilborn, and I don't know how he gets him on the phone because I haven't been able to get in touch with Stacks for a couple of weeks now.
He doesn't pick up for anybody else.
Nah, it's just Wilborn. But yes, Forbidden Dow, all Dynamite stuff later in the week, and until next time, we will see you soon.